Let's talk about ideas. Right? We all have ideas, various ideas before we embark into one particular business idea. But how do you know when exactly is the right idea? When do you really start selling your product? Maybe we start with Karl.
Okay. I think first and foremost, you really need to identify whether there is a market that exists for the product that you have in mind. So when I started Beeconomic, I touched the Groupon experience when I was in New York City. Basically, I was working in finance in Wall Street, and someone had forwarded me a Groupon email for an indoor rock climbing experience. I bought the deal, and enjoyed the experience, came back to my desk and thought, this is a wonderful idea, it's a wonderful concept. That was the product. The product was experience, yeah? The product was how do you get people out of their seats to experience something in their city. The product for merchants was a new form of marketing. What I did was I left New York. Well, actually, I sent Groupon an email and said, hey, this is such a great idea. I really want to take this to Singapore and to Asia in general. Didn't get a reply, so you don't wait. I just went to Singapore and registered the business and started up. Now, I didn't have a product in place then. The product was the website. So what I did was I structured a presentation deck, started cold calling merchants, door knocked, and pitched to as many merchants as possible. And I was pitching a concept, yeah? I was saying that the website looks like this, it's like Groupon, this is what it will, this is the function it performs, and I'd like you to be the first partner to launch with me. I'm going to do a ton of media campaigns and so on. If I had not done that then, and had just like waited for the product to exist, which is the website, I probably would have been very late in the game and not have been able to take the first move advantage. So I think to answer your question, identify whether there is a market, there has to be huge demand for it, and whether that product that you have in mind is scalable. Yeah, and then take it from there.
What about that?
I think there is a balance, because whether do you really wait for a product to be ready before it's launched? The balance really comes as first, the product has to be good enough in your opinion. Version 1 has to be good enough, but there really isn't a business that you actually stop developing it. There has to be continued innovation and evolution. But version 1 has to be of basic quality. But sometimes don't wait too long, because the business opportunities come by once, and sometimes it comes very fast. So seize the opportunity, launch it with the best that you can at that point of time, but don't wait for the opportunity to pass by before then you launch the product, because then it could be actually too late actually.
I guess many entrepreneurs want to launch ideas quickly, but there's always a lot of hurdles, lack of funds, you can't get the right team, you're not sure whether your partner is going to stay with you 1 year down the road if things don't go as planned. So how did you guys get over that hurdle?
I think for us, we start with whatever resources that we have. What is enough, when is enough, you know. I think if we have lack of funding, we really try our very best to find as much funding as possible. And based on whatever we have, whatever resources we have, we launch an idea based on that. There's never a point you say there's enough capital. Who doesn't want more capital? In terms of partners, sometimes it's a leap of faith. You can't expect a partner to be there forever. And you really won't know what's coming up along the years. But you go with a gut feel. First and foremost, a partner has to be one that you can trust. And if you feel that the person has integrity and there's mutual trust and mutual respect, and in terms of skill sets it's complementary, then I think it's a good start. But there's no point keep sweating and thinking whether this person is going to sabotage me or 1 year down the road find something else to do, because relationship takes a lot of time to work on, and sometimes it's just better of just going for it. But there are just a few key ingredients that you must watch out for a partner. Yeah.
I think it's important to build a budget first and foremost. When I did Beeconomic, I pretty much started with about 50,000 US, and the idea was to use that towards marketing, building the website, And then basically I was just living off chicken rice and living in backpackers accommodation. I actually lived in Little India in like appalling accommodation, but I did that. I made that sacrifice so that I could reinvest all those funds into marketing, into growing my subscriber base, and so on. Now, I think the idea of your partners is very key. Kind of leads to one of those questions about why did Beeconomic get quiet about the other sites. I think your management team is absolutely important in any sort of acquisition target, and of course the underlying success of a business. So with my management team, initially it was just me and my brother Chris. My skill set was number crunching, public speaking, and my brother's skill set was media, PR. He's doing a media communications degree in Sydney plus law. So the two of us combined had a pretty strong force when it came to meeting merchants and getting deals signed, and then presenting ourselves to the media to create buzz. Then beyond that, once Beeconomic started climbing up in its popularity, I knew I had to really, get extra skill sets in marketing and in sales. Like my background really isn't in sales. My background was more in investment banking. So I hired a salesperson who knew how to break down sales targets, recognize that it's a numbers game, it's all about cold calling, and just taught me a ton as well. Then I had to bring in someone with a technology background. So I hired someone from Oracle to help build my website, get Beeconomic out there in as much ad networks as possible, and collect a database size with as high ROI as possible.
Okay, I'll just share because while you're dreaming, I'll share. I'm not going to speak to you from position as a government because I think I'd rather share some experience. I think whether you lack of funds and lack of ideas, first you should not be lack of ideas if you really want to start. And you've got to have the passion, so you shouldn't be lack of passion. You must also not lack of determination because you're going to fail most of the time. It's not common to have a first startup and to be extremely successful, but if you think mediocre and then average, then if that's what you're aiming for, just make a living, I think you can survive. I think maybe 50% of probability of succeeding, just make some salary and just be mediocre, I think you can do it. But if you have big dreams, big ambition, you have an idea that nobody really, path less traveled, I believe that you follow your heart and go with the flow and you just jump into it. Because you think too much, you'll never come out. You'll never try. Try. You never know whether it's successful until you try. And because you have so much passion, determination, and hard work, you have to start selling it. You start selling when you have the idea. So when do you sell it? You actually sell it from the very beginning. First, if you want partnership, sell it to your partners, sell it to people that you think can come in together with you. And you think that you want to align, I think better not. You better find people that form your team with different skill sets. Sometimes may not be totally aligned, but align with you in terms of how you want to bring the company, for example, believe in the product. Yes, that one alignment. But he must give you different ideas and challenge you as well. Then of course, between both of you, there must have a good understanding and then bring out the best ideas, combine different skill sets together. So I'm not sure totally aligned is a good thing because those that have invested, those that have tried and start, the successful ones is because we are totally different. And my ex-colleagues and my ex-partners were quite different in nature. So you sell it from the very beginning to the partners, then you sell it to raise money. I don't know, you guys probably have to raise money, but sell to your bankers, to VCs, if you want to use VCs. So different VCs and different bankers, even if you want to borrow money from relatives and friends, which I recommend is to always try family, friends and fools first. Before VCs are angels, you can also try angels because I think angels, why? So that you won't be on your back all the time. You want to have people who, I believe in you, as you're a person, I believe you have to put money with you. and you focus on what you're doing. You focus and try to make it successful. Because if not, you'll be reporting. I don't know how you guys do it. You have VC funding, maybe you're reporting quarterly or monthly, but I ever had a venture that we raised 16 million US. Wow, yeah, sorry about the English. Every month, no, every month, never mind, you do a standard formal report, but I tell you, it's like any press release, anything that you do, wow, you have to clear first. So when you're VC, and the other thing is that you don't know how to negotiate on the shareholding percentage, you lose some of the equities. So some of these things you have to consider, consider very carefully. Maybe sometimes you guys have experience and share too. So I would say you do take calculated risks, but you must follow your heart, must follow your passion, and don't be afraid. Really, don't be afraid. Because you will not know whether you'll be successful until you try. Always have the mental, have that focus, and you roll, you just go. Because most of the successful entrepreneurs, there are many failures around, the successful entrepreneurs really do ride on the passion and believe in what they do, have a lot of confidence, but a lot of determination, and willing to put in the hard work, and it's a lot of hard work. If you're not willing to put in the hard work, I suggest join corporate. Stick around there, you get promotion, and maybe when the government say 3% wage increase, you get 3% wage increase, and not there. But if it's not your cup of tea, then looking at a company, build it big, list it. If you want, list it, and then run another different race as a public company, and then talk about mergers, acquisition, or even you can sell out if you want. So there's a lot of exciting options when you are an entrepreneur.